Good morning and welcome to our thought for the day for Friday the 18th of February. This morning our passage comes from John's Gospel and it's chapter 4. And Jesus has just been talking to a woman at the well, and his disciples come along and see Jesus talking to this woman, and the woman goes off and they're a little bit concerned. But they won't say anything about the woman. Instead, they urge him to eat. And this is what it says. Meanwhile, the disciples were urging him, "Rabbi, eat something." But he said to them, "I have food to eat that you do not know about." So the disciples said to one another, "Surely no one's brought him something to eat." Jesus said to them, "My food is to do the will of him who sent me, and to complete his work. Do you not say, 4 months more, then comes the harvest? But I tell you, look around you and see how the fields are ripe for harvesting. The reaper is already receiving wages and is gathering fruit for eternal life, so that sower and reaper may rejoice together. For here the saying holds true, one sows and another reaps. I sent you to reap that for which you did not labour. Others have laboured, and you have entered into their labour." It's funny at Lent when many of us will be giving things up and hopefully taking some things up. But some of us may indeed be fasting and or giving up certain types of food if we're not actually going without food. And the disciples again just show their kind of leaning towards the physical. They're always worried about the physical. And in John's Gospel, Jesus makes it clear that actually the followers of Jesus, those who would call God their Father, are to be born again, to be spiritually reborn, not physically reborn, because God is spirit. And he's again and again urging, and we read it in all the Gospels, for us all to have a spiritual mindset, to think about our souls, not to worry about our bodies so much and what we eat or don't eat, but instead to have a spiritual mindset. And this passage just highlights this beautifully. His disciples, a little bit like, I guess in England we talk about the weather when we're not quite sure what to say. They make a fuss about whether Jesus has had his lunch or not. Have you eaten something? Have you eaten something? And Jesus straight away, of course, uses this to teach them something of far greater importance than lunchtime. He says, "My food is to do the will of him who sent me." In other words, the thing I hunger for, the thing I crave for, the only thing that really nourishes me as a human being is to do my Father's will. Now, if that's true for Jesus, surely it must be all the more true for us. And so my very simple thought for today is, well, how do I get spiritually nourished? Where do I find my nourishment from? What is it that God has called me to do? And Jesus actually explains this, doesn't he? He says, there's a harvest to be reaped. Jesus in the business of harvesting a people, bringing people into his kingdom. And he says to the disciples, this great harvest God has sown. He's sown through the prophets of the Old Testament. He's sown through the saints of the New Testament. And you and I are now to reap. we're invited into this job of harvesting. And it's a great privilege. And it's only really as we do that we will find nourishment, just as Jesus found nourishment by doing his Father's will. So today, may you not go spiritually hungry, but may you have your fill by following God's will and joining in that kingdom work of reaping. Have a great day. See you again soon. Bye-bye.